I like the tempo you're using, the amount of speed that you're creating. I like it a lot. Do you feel like you're swinging pretty fast or pretty hard at the ball? Let's swing just a little faster. So you're going to try to hit the ball a little harder. In the context of your form and your balance, you still want to have good form and good balance. But you're just going to test, you're going to kind of experiment to see if, can I hit the ball harder and still maintain balance and form? I don't know, and we'll know in a minute. Okay, it certainly went further. And it's pretty much the same direction, and you didn't even hit it that's clean, but it still went further because you swung faster. Go in a hole. My test is over.
Okay.
When we're learning the mechanics, we correctly and intentionally swing carefully. We're afraid we're not going to hit it if I don't swing carefully. You've done an outstanding job of building a good fundamental swing. So now we can kind of set it free a little bit. You can start swinging that hard. That's the right tempo for you, okay? Because you were able to maintain balance and form, and you hit it 10, 15 yards further. And you did it, you're not used to it yet. So you have to practice with that tempo. And over time, you'll actually be more consistent. Very, very nice. Very nice. Very good. It's a good ball. There's a little draw. I like that. Good one. More stable on this left side in your backswing. And if you rock to the right a little bit, you move the low point behind the ball. And now you've created a challenge to get back in time to hit it solid. When you watch the pros, you see them take these divots, the dirt flies after they hit an iron. They didn't miss that shot. They hit it perfectly. They all take divots. I'm first going to look at you in the impact position because it's the most important. Everything the ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is a direct response to the laws of physics in motion at the brief moment of impact. On the left is Tiger hitting an iron. This is video I took at last year's US Open. On the right is Grant Waite hitting a driver. Grant was a PGA Tour player during the 90s and now is one of the top instructors of tour players. Grant's teaching partner is a good friend of mine, Joe Mayo, who lives in Las Vegas. Grant was considered by many as having one of the best and most fundamentally sound golf swings. At impact, they both have the majority of their weight on the left side. In fact, the average pro will have 85 to 90% of their weight on the left side at impact. I've drawn a red block from the center of their ankles to the top of their head, and you can see that the red line off their left foot is passing right through their belt buckle, showing how the center of their mass is right on top of their left foot. They both have extended arms through impact. Their elbows are close together and not separating. Having extended arms and weight forward allows them to control the low point of their arc of their swing. When hitting the iron, this fundamental allows the placement of the low point to be in front of the ball, so that they hit the ball first and then the ground, producing the maximum compression of the golf ball. These fundamentals also allows for the highest level of consistency in controlling the face angle and club path during impact, so that you in turn have the highest level of consistency in hitting whatever optimal ball flight you want. Wendy, the swing on the left is your full swing with an 8-iron before we made any adjustments. I have your swing paused just past impact and will compare your position to Grant Waite. The purpose of swing analysis is not to change the look of the swing just to make it fit some ideal swing model. The sole purpose is to change the negative ball flight that is impacting your score. Once a ball flight error begins to occur too frequently, then you must identify the part of the player's swing causing the club to be delivered to the ball in the wrong position. Swing fundamentals are not abstract ideas, but are key positions that have a certain look. If the look isn't there, then the fundamental isn't there. No player can work on too many things at once, so it's important to work on a player's missing fundamentals a few at a time and in a proper sequence. First, let's look at your weight distribution during impact. I've drawn a box from the ankles to the top of the head. You can see that Grant has a huge majority of his weight on his left side. You are more evenly balanced between the feet with only slightly more weight on the left side. One of the keys to hitting solid shots is to have the low point of the swing in front of the ball so you can hit the ball before you hit the ground. The second important fundamental is to hit with extended arms. Extended arms form the radius of your golf circle, and the only way you can have a uniform circle with a constant size is to have a constant radius. If the arms, and particularly the left arm, is changing their angles during the swing, then the radius is changing and the size of the golf circle is changing. It is important to set up at the beginning of the swing with extended arms and to hit the ball with the same extended arms. As you can see, your elbows are beginning to separate and lose their extension as you go through impact. Grant's arms are at the same extended position at impact as they were at address. On the right is your setup address position, and you can see how extended the arms are. They're very straight, the elbows are close to each other, and then as you hit the ball, as you go through impact on the left, you can see how you lose that extension and your elbows are separating and coming apart. I'm now going to take the swing up to the 9th position when the right arm is parallel to the ground on the follow-through. A player's look in this position provides clues to what the swing might have been doing during impact. Let's do Grant first. He keeps his arms extended, his elbows are still very close to each other. He's moving everything in one piece. So now his right arm is parallel to the ground. Elbows are close together, both arms are still extended. Also, we can see his left hand underneath the right hand. His wrists have crossed. Let's take you up to the 9th position. And you can see how your arms continue to separate. Right now, your forearm is parallel to the ground, but your right arm is bent, and your left elbow and left arm is bent as well and swung behind you. And your left hand, your white glove, is above the right hand. So you haven't extended those arms and had those wrists crossed and have your elbows close together. And so that is one of the things that's costing you a little bit of power, but also some control of the face of the club so that the ball goes consistently straight. You're just going to feel a little different on your left side. Good. Let's keep with that. That was a very good start. Good. Very nice. Harder now to hit behind the ball because you got so much on your left side. That means you're going to hit the ball first, and all of the speed of your club is going to go right into the golf ball, not the ground. Wow. Very nice. Now we're going to compare your swing on the left before we talked about changing your weight distribution. And on the swing on the right, after we worked on just keeping a little bit more weight on your left side, just to kind of monitor that a little bit differently. And we're going to watch these two swings now go through impact. To you, they may look subtle or small, but they are very important differences. And you definitely hit the ball more cleanly and struck the ball with a lot better compression. First, let's look at your setup. On the right, you can see you have a little bit more weight on your left side than you do on the left, the picture on the left. I can see the red line coming off your right foot touching your right shoulder, whereas it is not touching your right shoulder on the swing on the right. So you've you've shifted your hip and your shoulder a little bit more toward the left foot in your setup. So you start with a little bit more weight on your left side than the right side at the beginning of the new setup. Now let's take the swing on the left back to the 3 position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. Do the same with the other swing, 3 position. So you're in 3 position with both, but you can see how your right hip is further away from the red line on with the swing on the right, and it's touching the red line with the swing on the left. So you definitely have maintained more weight on your left side during your backswing, which is important. Now let's take it down to impact. Do the swing on the left first. We'll make it just past impact to there. Do the same with this one, just past impact. Huge difference there. You can see how you've really driven your body, the core of your body, on top of that left foot. Your right hip is much further away from the red line on the right side than it is the swing on the left. So you have definitely put more weight on top of your left foot at the moment of impact. Also, your arms are a little bit more extended. There still has a small tendency to bend, but they're certainly bending less, and that's an improvement. In the 9th position, you still have a bent arm, but it does, to me, appear to be less bent. And you can certainly see how this knee right here is much closer to your left leg than over on this side. So you've turned and rotated further through the swing with the swing on the right. So not only are you shifting your weight more to the left side, you're rotating more, which is going to really serve you well. So the small changes we made that day are going to really help you and hit the ball better once you really practice this enough that it becomes common to do it. So very good improvement, and we'll continue to get better. The correct movement of swinging through impact with extended arms and have a post-impact position of extended arms with the wrist crossed and the left hand under the right hand is not a movement you have never done. It is a movement you do all the time and is very natural to you. The swing on the right is one of your swings with the driver I videotaped that shows you getting into a similar position as Grant did. First of all, right at this position, you can see how your arms are more extended, your elbows are not separated as the swing on the left. Then as you go through, that right arm now is much more extended. It has a nice extension here, much better. And the swing on the left is much more bent. And the swing on the left has the left hand above, and the swing on the right has your left hand under. You've crisscrossed your wrist, and you are in a much more similar position that Grant did. Also, it's important to point out that when you're in this position, when this forearm is here, the club has come up further around your wrist. When your club is here and you're in a similar position, you can see how you retarded the speed of the club coming around. That the swing on the right has created more club head speed. That's why we see the club having traveled further around the circle. And so the swing on the left swings a little bit slower, loses a little bit of power. The swing on the right will have a lot more power in it. Now, the difference between the swing on the left and the swing on the right is the swing on the right was your practice swing. When you swung at the ball with the driver, you look more like on the left. So your ball swing is different than your practice swing. You have a more relaxed, fluid action and natural swing when you don't swing at a ball. Every time you do a practice swing, probably I only captured this one practice swing with the driver, but my suspicion is, because it's common, that every practice swing you make, whether it be an iron or a driver, will have a much closer representation to the correct form than when you get over the ball to hit it. You, instead of swinging at the ball, you try to hit the ball. And that type of image in your mind creates this tension. When there is no ball there, you're not hitting anything, and therefore you move differently through that bottom part of the arc where you would be hitting a golf ball. In our session, we worked on improving your basic foundation of how to use your body and how to position it more to the left side to better support the correct swing with the hands and arms. We will need to continue to improve that work, but also we now need to add work on how to move your hands and arms through impact. As those two components improve, your ball striking will dramatically improve in power, control, and consistency.